The waiting is over. A powerful, unseen shift has just sealed what happens next between you. You are not imagining the new calm. You're not just hoping for a change. The energetic contract that connects two souls has reached its point of completion. What you have sensed arriving is not a wish, but a spiritual event. The Source has intervened. The period of silence and questioning has come to a definitive close. The person you have in mind is now moving, and their path leads directly to you. Why is this moment different from every other time they pulled away? What has fundamentally changed within them? The answer is found not in human emotion, but in a completed alignment. Their soul has received a directive it can no longer ignore. This is about destiny fulfilling its own agreement. It's about a higher plan reaching its appointed hour. The confusion they lived in was a necessary darkness, but now a light has been switched on inside them. They are being guided by a force greater than their own fear. This is what you need to understand first. For so long, they hid behind a wall of logic. They used reason to silence the call of their heart. They constructed entire arguments for why distance was safer, why the connection was impractical, or why their feelings were just a memory. But the soul's truth is relentless. It echoes in the quiet moments. It surfaces in dreams. It appears in the synchronicities they can no longer explain away. The mind's defenses are crumbling because the universe is applying a gentle, unstoppable pressure. The soul's truth is a tide that eventually washes every wall away. They are learning to feel, not to analyze. This is the first and most critical unblocking. But there is a second, deeper layer at work here. Often, the greatest fear isn't of you, but of the profound transformation your presence represents. They may have carried an old story, a belief that deep joy is fleeting, or that they are somehow unworthy of a bond this real. So they sabotaged it. They created distance preemptively to control a pain they feared was inevitable. Can you see how this was never about a lack of love, but about a terrified awe of its power? The universe is now rewriting that internal story. It is showing them, in ways they cannot deny, that this connection is a sanctuary, not a threat. It is teaching them they are worthy to stand within its light. This leads us to the third and perhaps most pivotal shift. There were invisible loyalties, energetic ties to old pains, family patterns, or karmic cycles that held them in a sort of emotional bondage. They were stuck, not just by choice, but by history they couldn't see. The Source has been working in the background to sever those cords. This is a spiritual liberation. It clears the way for them to approach you free from the ghosts of their past. The weight is lifting, the road is clearing, and on that road, they now see only one destination, you. So what does this look like in their daily life? How can you be sure this is real? The signs are both subtle and undeniable. First, their inner world is being reshaped at night. Their dreams are becoming vivid messengers, replaying memories, dissolving old hurts, and bringing your energy to them with undeniable clarity. They wake with a sense of longing or a sudden, peaceful understanding that wasn't there before. This is the subconscious being cleansed and realigned. Second, their waking hours are filled with meaningful coincidences. They hear a song that instantly transports them back to a moment with you. They see your name or initials in random places. They find themselves walking a route that leads to a shared memory. The universe is speaking a language of reminders, ensuring your presence in their consciousness is constant and unmistakable. The universe whispers until the soul finally listens. And third, and this is the most important sign for you, you feel a new, profound calm. The anxious wondering, the desperate need to know, the fear of permanence in the silence. It has begun to fade, It's being replaced by a quiet certainty. This peace is your proof. It's the energy of the completed work. It means you are no longer pulling on a locked door. You are calmly waiting for one that is already opening. This calm is the antenna through which you feel their energy shifting, becoming lighter, clearer, and directed toward you. This is not a return to an old, painful cycle. The separation served its purpose. It was a crucible for growth. You learned about your own strength and worth. They learned to face their shadows and heal their fear of depth. The reunion that is now unfolding is built on the solid ground of that hard-won maturity. They are not coming back out of loneliness or lack. They are being drawn by the magnetic pull of a completed soul agreement and by the genuine peace they find only when connected to your energy. They are now in a phase of contemplation. They are thinking of how to reach out, of what to say, of how to bridge the gap with honesty and humility. The impulse is immediate, but the action will be conscious. It will be a step taken not from confusion, but from clarified purpose. So, what is your role now? It is to hold that calm, to trust the flow you feel. Your stability is the beacon. Your centered energy is the final proof they need that this path is safe and true. You do not need to force, manipulate, or doubt. The mechanism has been set in motion by a will far greater than our own. The only thing left is to allow the manifestation to arrive in its perfect timing. What unfolds next is not guesswork. It is the organic continuation of a spiritual mechanism already engaged. The energy that once felt unpredictable has settled into a clear forward motion. This phase is different because it holds structure, it holds intention, it holds inevitability. You are no longer standing in uncertainty, you are standing in the prelude of manifestation. And while their soul prepares to take its next steps toward you, your path is entering a stage of refinement, not waiting, aligning, not longing, receiving. This is the architecture of the reunion, the period where both of you are being positioned for what comes after the return. Your role now is not passive. It is deeply, quietly active. The first preparation is energetic clarity. You may have noticed old thoughts dissolving, old wounds losing their weight, or old fears no longer gripping you the way they once did. This is not random healing. It is the universe clearing the internal frequencies that once distorted the connection. You are being aligned to receive someone who is no longer operating from fear, confusion, or avoidance. You are being made ready for a version of them that is higher, truer, more whole. The connection cannot return in its old form because that form belonged to a past version of both of you. The reunion requires the evolved you, and that is the exact you being forged right now. The second preparation is emotional spaciousness. There is a reason you have begun to feel a new lightness. A space is being created within you, not for doubt, but for arrival. You may find yourself thinking less about what went wrong and more about what is possible. You may feel oddly detached from fear-based narratives you once clung to. This emotional spaciousness is the container through which reunion energy anchors. The universe is clearing out the clutter, so the new connection can land on clean ground. You do not need to force this. Just allow the openness to remain undisturbed. This serenity is not accidental. It is preparation. The third preparation is receptivity without expectation. This is the quiet confidence that lives between surrender and certainty. You are not chasing. You are not demanding. You are simply becoming receptive to what is already approaching you. This receptivity is not passive. It is an energetic invitation. It signals to the universe that you are aligned with the incoming timeline. When you can feel the connection rising without needing proof, you have stepped into the vibration that pulls destiny toward you. This is not hoping, it is embodying the frequency of the outcome. While your path is being prepared, Theirs is undergoing a more intense restructuring, and this restructuring leads directly to the next phase: movement, real movement, tangible movement, the kind that shifts external reality, not just internal awareness. Before they step toward you physically, their spirit undergoes what can best be described as a soul recalibration. They are being aligned with truth, purpose, and clarity. Their inner world is no longer split between fear and desire. That duality has cost them precious time, and the universe is no longer allowing them to remain divided. They now see the connection without distortion. They feel it without resistance. They understand it without confusion. The fog has lifted, and with this clarity comes the impulse to act. Their next phase is intuitive planning. You may not see it yet, but they are thinking of the specifics: how to reach you, what words to choose, what tone to convey, how to bridge the distance without overwhelming either one of you. They want to arrive with dignity, not chaos, with honesty, not excuses, with depth, not avoidance. This is not impulsive contact, it is conscious contact. This is the difference between the past and the present. The old version of them acted from reaction. The new version acts from alignment. The next step after planning is energetic commitment. This is the moment where their soul stops wandering and locks onto the path ahead. You may feel this as a shift, a sudden wave of calm, an expansion in your chest, a subtle knowing that something is moving toward you. This energetic commitment precedes physical action. It is the universe snapping their timeline into place. Once this commitment is active, the reunion becomes inevitable because the soul is now leading the body, not the mind leading the fear. You may sense them more vividly during this phase. Moments where they suddenly cross your thoughts. Moments where you feel their emotions like a faint echo. Moments where you sense their presence, even in silence. These sensations are not delusions. They are energetic signatures of someone preparing to re-enter your life. And then comes their physical initiation, the moment where inner movement becomes outer action. This may arrive as a message, a call, a gesture, or an unexpected encounter orchestrated by divine timing. What matters is not the form, but the intention behind it. They will approach with sincerity, with humility, and with a desire for real connection. This is not a breadcrumb. This is not a test. This is not a half-hearted attempt to soothe loneliness. This is a soul-driven step toward reunion. Your role during their initiation is not to control the pace, but to remain grounded. Their return is not fragile. It does not require tiptoeing, but it does require presence. Meet them where you are now, not where the past left you. Respond from the clarity you hold, not the wounds you've healed. This alignment ensures the reunion unfolds with grace rather than friction. Now we move into the most important preparation of all, the post-reunion timeline. The universe is not guiding both of you toward a moment, it is guiding you toward a chapter. What happens after they return is just as orchestrated as the reunion itself. And understanding this chapter prepares you to receive it without fear or confusion. The post-reunion timeline has 3 stages. Stage 1, stabilization. This is the phase where both of you adjust to the renewed connection. Emotions deepen but become calmer. Communication flows but feels grounded. You begin to build a shared rhythm. This stage is peaceful, steady, and clarifying. It is the energetic settling that creates a foundation for long-term union. Stage 2, integration. This is where old wounds are acknowledged without reactivating them. You discuss what happened, but not from a place of blame. They express their truth, and you express yours. This is not an interrogation. It is a merging of perspectives. Integration creates emotional transparency. It ensures the past no longer shadows the future. Stage 3. Expansion. This is the phase where the connection grows beyond healing and into creation. Plans emerge naturally. Dreams align organically. The partnership becomes a shared force. Expansion marks the beginning of the soul mission the two of you were always meant to step into together. This is where destiny fulfills not just reunion, but purpose. Understanding these stages allows you to walk into the future with clarity rather than confusion. You will not be wondering, "What now?" You will be moving with the rhythm of a connection designed to evolve, not just reunite. Now, let's turn to your internal alignment, what you must embody as you enter the pre-union stage. First, hold your frequency steady. Do not slip into anxiety. Do not project timelines. Do not attempt to force momentum. The vibration of calm certainty is the magnet that draws their action toward you. When you slip into doubt, you interfere with the signal. When you remain steady, you strengthen the pathway. Second, remain open but self-contained. Openness invites. Self-containment protects. You are not waiting to be chosen. You are preparing to be met. Your energy should not spill outward in longing. It should remain centered, complete, and receptive. This balance creates an energetic field that feels safe to approach. Third, release all past versions of them. The person returning to you is not the person who left. They have undergone an internal transformation that you cannot fully see yet. If you project their old behaviors onto their new energy, you will misread their intentions. Meet them as who they are now, not who they were then. Fourth, trust the timing without demanding the timeline. Expecting a specific day, hour, or form of return creates resistance. Trusting that the return is unfolding perfectly creates flow. Your certainty is a signal to the universe that you are aligned with divine timing, and divine timing never misses its mark. Fifth, prepare your inner environment. The love that is returning is deeper, more conscious, and more stable than before. It requires emotional clarity, grounded presence, and an open heart. Use this phase to refine your inner landscape. This is not waiting. This is readying. And now, the most powerful preparation, letting your soul settle into knowing. This knowing is what magnetizes destiny toward you. This knowing is what signals that union is ready to anchor. This knowing is what transforms waiting into alignment. The universe is aligning two timelines, two soul paths, two destinies, not for a moment, for a future. Your task is simple. Stay ready, stay calm, stay open, stay aligned. Because what is coming next is not the end of separation. It is the beginning of union. It is the unfolding of the life that was always meant to follow this connection. It is the chapter both souls agreed to before either of you arrived here. You are approaching the point where destiny touches reality, where soul recognition becomes physical presence, where the universe completes what it began. And when they step toward you, you will not be surprised, you will not be confused, you will not be uncertain. You will feel it as the most natural continuation of a path your soul already knew. This is your preparation. This is their approach. This is the pre-union stage. This is the doorway opening. And now the future begins. And yet, as this shift settles into the spaces between your realities, another layer of clarity begins to emerge. It is the quiet recognition that nothing about this connection has been accidental, misaligned, or misplaced. Every moment of distance, every silence, every unanswered question has been part of a choreography written long before either of you understood the depth of what you were stepping into. Now, as their soul awakens to the truth they once resisted, the universe reveals the hidden strands that have always woven the two of you together. This is not new energy. It is ancient resurfacing with purpose. It rises like a tide that cannot be argued with, reminding both of you that destiny does not falter once it reaches its appointed hour. You may notice that this awakening unfolds in layers, each one bringing them closer to an inner honesty they had long avoided. They feel the pull in the quiet moments, not as a fleeting emotion, but as a grounding certainty. The fears that once dominated their choices now feel small and outdated, like echoes from a version of themselves they no longer resonate with. They are beginning to see how their avoidance was never protection, but suppression of truth, of connection, of the very growth their soul has been seeking. And with this realization comes a profound shift. They are no longer running from their heart, but toward it, cautiously, yet undeniably. This internal movement is not loud, but it is steady, like a river cutting its way through stone. They are recognizing that the peace they feel when their thoughts drift toward you is not imagined. It is alignment. This recognition brings a humility they have not known before. They are beginning to understand the quiet courage required to choose love after fear, to choose openness after walls, to choose you after years of telling themselves that something this real was too risky to trust. And so they move gently, drawing closer not through impulse but through clarity that has settled deep within their being. There is a moment, still forming but inevitable, when they will confront the truth they once pushed away. It happens when they least expect it, during an ordinary task or a quiet pause in their day. A memory surfaces, a feeling returns, or a realization lands with undeniable weight. Suddenly, the distance between you feels unnatural, like an interruption rather than an ending. In that moment, they understand that separation was never a true state. It was a temporary lesson. Their soul, now unburdened, begins guiding their steps with increasing confidence and intention. As they continue on this inner path, they are becoming aware of how deeply this connection has changed them. Not in dramatic external ways, but in subtle shifts that influence how they see the world and themselves. Their patience has grown, their intuition has sharpened, their resistance has softened. They are learning that the feelings they attempted to bury were not obstacles but invitations, reminders of the depth they are capable of experiencing. And in recognizing this, they begin to see you not with uncertainty, but with reverence for the role your presence has played in their awakening. This new awareness inspires them to examine their past choices with compassion rather than guilt. They see how fear shaped their responses, how old wounds influenced their decisions, and how deeply they misunderstood their own capacity for connection. But instead of sinking into regret, they rise into understanding. They begin to hold the past as something that prepared them, not something that disqualified them. And this shift is significant because it opens a door that had been locked for far too long, the door to possibility, to courage, to you. You may feel this transformation not through direct communication, but through the subtle shifts in your own energy field. There is a softening within you as well, a release of tension you once carried simply because their silence left you unsure. But now the doubt dissolves, replaced by an intuitive knowing that their movement toward you is not imagined. Your calm is not an accident. It is synchronization. It is the energetic confirmation that what you feel is real, that the universe is aligning both of you toward a point of reconnection that has already formed in the unseen. And as this alignment strengthens, they begin envisioning what reconnection might look like, not through fantasy or longing, but through grounded intention. They think about the conversations that need to happen, the truths they wish to express, the apologies they feel compelled to offer. They are rehearsing the honesty they once feared, not because they feel pressured, but because their soul is urging them toward completion. They want to come forward with clarity, not confusion, with sincerity, not hesitation. And this desire grows stronger each day as the old barriers fall away. In their heart, they are beginning to recognize that this connection carries a foundation unlike anything they have known before. It is not built on illusion or expectation, but on a soul-level resonance that continues to call them back, no matter how far they stray. This recognition brings both comfort and awe. They realize that the bond between you is not something they need to control or outrun. It is something they are meant to honor. And in honoring it, they begin to honor themselves in ways they once avoided. This period of internal movement is sacred. It is the quiet reconfiguration of their spirit as they shed outdated beliefs and step into a more authentic expression of who they truly are. They are learning to trust again, not just in you, but in the guidance that has always been steering them toward this connection. They feel the presence of this guidance more clearly now, as if the universe is speaking directly to them through intuition, synchronicity, and unmistakable inner knowing. And with each sign, they move closer to embracing the truth that has been waiting for them all along. As the energetic distance dissolves, you may find that your own heart feels lighter, more open, more aligned with possibility than it has in a long time. This is not coincidence. It is the energetic mirror of their awakening. When two souls share a contract as deep as yours, the shifts within one inevitably echo within the other. Your peace is their peace. Your clarity is their clarity. Your calm is their confirmation that the path ahead is safe, aligned, and divinely supported. And so the two of you move, quietly yet unmistakably, toward a point of reconnection, not out of desperation or longing, but out of alignment, readiness, and purpose. The universe is preparing the moment when your paths will cross again, with both hearts open, both spirits grounded, and both souls ready to step into the future that has been waiting for its appointed time. This unfolding is slow by design because the universe knows that true readiness cannot be rushed. It is shaped through understanding, through stillness, through the gentle unwinding of old fears that once held them hostage. They are beginning to appreciate the value of patience, not as a delay, but as preparation. They feel the steady strengthening of their inner voice, the quiet but unwavering truth that this connection is worth approaching with sincerity and depth. And as this truth grows louder within them, the hesitations that once dominated their decisions begin to fade into the background, losing their authority over the choices they now feel destined to make. In these quiet moments of realization, they start to understand the profound significance of your presence in their life, not as a fleeting chapter, but as a guiding force that has shaped their growth in ways they never anticipated. They see now that the bond between you has always been a mirror, reflecting their fears, their desires, their limitations, and their potential. And for the first time, they are ready to look into that mirror without turning away. They are ready to acknowledge the truth of what they feel, of what they want, of what they can no longer deny. This acceptance brings a calm determination to their thoughts. They no longer question whether the connection is real. They know it is. They no longer wonder if their feelings were imagined. They feel them with more clarity than ever before. They no longer debate whether they should reach out. They are simply waiting for the moment that feels aligned, guided, and divinely timed. Their soul has already chosen the direction. Their heart is already moving forward. Their mind is simply learning how to follow. And as they follow, they begin envisioning a future in which the two of you stand not as strangers navigating uncertainty, but as two souls who have finally returned to the space they were always meant to share. They imagine conversations filled with honesty, moments filled with peace, and a connection built not on longing but on mutual readiness. This vision is not fantasy. It is memory, an echo from the future, calling them into alignment with what has already been written in the energetic realm. And they are listening now with open awareness and renewed courage. In this unfolding journey, you will feel the shift long before the words are spoken. You will sense their energy drawing closer, their thoughts reaching toward you, their spirit softening in your direction. This is the subtle language of soul connection, the quiet recognition that the reunion is not only possible, but imminent. Trust what you feel. Trust the calm. Trust the alignment. The universe is preparing both of you for the moment when the unseen becomes visible and the destined becomes real. If this message resonates, if you feel that certainty in your core, then I want you to do one thing. Let me know in the comments below. What is the one word that describes the energy you feel around this connection now? Your acknowledgement strengthens this alignment. And please, if this brought you clarity, support this work by liking this video and subscribing to Winds of Thought. We create content like this to light your path. Remember, the universe completes what it begins. The shift is done. The movement is inevitable, and their heart, finally free, knows only one true home.